Here, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Nice. So, I guess people are going to ask me questions. Is that how, or what do you guys want to talk about? Where is the microphone anyways? Is there? Oh, okay. All right. There is a microphone. Anyone? Oh, there's a question. Okay.
I want to ask you, in relation to being on set with Oscar, we all know that everybody has such great chemistry in general. You're all friends, you're all messing around. We know that Ksenia and Chris are pretty much like the kids of the bunch, always ranking and just having a laugh. I was wondering if, when you're casting people as like, they're the kid, they're the mum, they're you know what I mean. They're the ones that know what they're doing. They'll look after you.
Right, okay.
My general question is, how would you class yourself on set as a persona in general?
Oh, gosh. Well, it's hard because I'm not there all the time. So, I'd say maybe one of the kids. Because I don't know, I'm pretty goofy and, kind of whatever on set. So, that and then, the animal caretaker, because I've always got my dogs in my trailer and they're always around. And of course, Ksenia's got her little poodle Tino, so who will be playing with my dogs. We do doggy play dates. They like each other.
Who do you get on with more? Would you say? Is there anyone in particular that you get on like really, really well?
Well, Paul and I and Chris. I don't know. No, I mean everybody, we all get along so well. But I end up working more with, in the beginning it was with Paul, so I got to know him a lot better than I did anybody else. And now, I work with Zoe a lot, and I see Chris.
How do you find Paul and his Welsh humour?
Oh, he's awesome. He's hilarious. He always cracks me up. And between him and Chris, those two together are just it's just constant. But yeah, they're both very, very funny.
What would you say is the funniest, if there is one in particular episode that you've done?
I would say the dancing episode where Bex controls me. That one was, when I read that. Actually, the gentleman who created Orphan Black directed that episode, John Fawcett.
Are we going to see any of that dancing on the website?
Maybe, you never know. After a couple of cocktails, who knows what'll happen. Yeah, so that was probably the most fun episode that way, because it just, it was a day of just letting loose and being silly, and how often do you get to do that for work? And then strip down half naked and dance around like an idiot. So, I mean, all of the day's work.
I don't know how caught up a lot of people are. Obviously, you've done season 5 at the moment. And I was wondering, considering what's happened, how much heaven is going to be in season 5?
Well, I can't really talk about season 5, but I know I'm back. I would like my current situation to end.
It was a good way to lose it, though.
It was. That was another one of those wow moments when I read that. I was like, they're doing that? Really? We're allowed to do okay.
Of course, the opportunity now is if you can, we all know that Kenzie can get powers by looking green on her side. And we know that you can obviously lose powers too. So what do you think would be the likelihood of more humans becoming Fae and those Fae not wanting to be Fae anymore? Do you think that would happen a lot? Do you think that's something that might come about?
Maybe. I don't know. really like that. Yeah, that would be interesting though, but then it sort of like disrupts the whole about like the sort of power structure, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So then it takes the fun out of it. Or at least it would for me.
Okay, thank you for coming as well.
Thank
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Hi. Next. So, who has more fun, face or humans?
Face.
Okay.
Definitely. That's it?
Hi.
Hi.
If you could choose to be any fae ever, what would you want to be?
Oh, wow. I like my position now. The leader of the dark is kind of fun. I don't know if I can say that in or anything. She gets to do everything she wants. I like that. Maybe a shapeshifter. Like do like the Dyson. Shift into a wolf. See what it's like from a dog's eyes. I don't know. Pardon me? I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Any bad clients just have a haircut.
So, yeah, exactly. See? Simple.
Hello. You've been in a lot of different shows and movies and everything. Can you tell us what some of your favorite characters have been?
Sure. One of my favorite things to do was, and I wasn't on it for very long, I only did a couple of episodes, but Human Target, where I got to run around and, shoot things and get chased and drive around on motorcycles and things like that. I love action stuff, so that for me was really fun. Also, Supernatural was fun because I got to do a little wolf, or teeth and things and contact lenses and look all crazy. That was a lot of fun. I've been really lucky that I've been able to do and sort of span tap into many different genres and comedy and horror and the sci-fi, fiction, fantasy world and action. So every role has sort of something really fun that I've enjoyed. But I'd have to say the action stuff is the most fun, and then Lost World was a blast, just because we get away with so much, and we've got a lot of freedom to sort of play, and they let us, and that's really, it's such a blessing to be able to do that. So that's probably currently that's my favorite thing to do.
Cool. And also, you seem to have played a couple of villains. I used to watch in One Tree Hill, and I don't know if you call you a villain in One Tree Hill, but sort of.
That wasn't very nice. That was.
Do you love playing villains?
Yeah, I get cast a lot as the villain. It's rare that I, get the nice girl, or girl next door. I'm usually the killer, or the other woman, or something like, or the baby stealer in that case. And for those of you who didn't see One Tree Hill, I come back and try to take this. I dump the child that I have on the then boyfriend and leave town for a couple of years, and then I decide I want the baby back. So then I come back and I take the baby back. Not so nice. But I think they ended up with the baby, didn't they? I can't remember now.
I actually remember I haven't seen it in many years.
Yeah, me too. Something happened. Cool, thank you. You're welcome.
Hi, Emmanuelle.
Hello.
Hello. I love the fact that Emily doesn't apologise for who she is and what she is. I just wondered what you like best about playing Emily.
I think what you just said, she has no apology, she's not apologetic at all about who she is. She is who she is. She says what she thinks. She's a strong female character, and Anna, within that, still has a sense of humor. So I really love that. And that's, I think, one of the greatest things about Lost World is all the female characters are really strong, strong individuals, and they don't pander to anything. Everybody has an opinion and is very strong. And I think that's, they've really drawn the female characters well on the show.
Emmanuelle is usually pretty sassy. What has been your favorite lines of like really sassy and very good lines?
I think scissor already was one of my That one was good. They give me some great one-liners on the show, so I'm always like, okay, what are they gonna have to do this time? And there's always something very funny. I can't tell you what it is on this episode, but there was one that I'm like, oh wow, that the intention, or like the double meaning on a line that they have me saying on this episode is like, ooh, this is gonna be fun, so. But I can't tell you what it is, so you'll have to wait and see till next year, or till September, perhaps. Then you can all download it from wherever you are.
Hi. I'm curious about how you went from being an animal lover to the fluff ball.
Okay. Well, the Fluff Ball, for those of you who don't know, is a 501c3 charitable organization that I founded. I guess, well, we just got our 501c3 papers from the IRS, so that's yay. But that was founded, basically I was doing a lot of animal charity work and fostering animals, and it's always been a passion of mine. And a few years ago, I was like, well, I want to do something to give back and do something more. And so I paired up with Best Friends Animal Society, and I threw the first fundraiser at my house. And then it grew from there, the second year and third year at a bigger venue. And now we're just restructuring, because what I'd like to do is start giving back to smaller organizations that are more locally based in Los Angeles, that perhaps need the financial help more than some of the larger organizations that already have a lot of sponsors and funding from outside sources. So that's what we're working on right now. But that's sort of how it came about.
That's cool. Thank you.
Hi. I've got a couple of questions. What first attracted you to the role of the Morgan?
The first thing that attracted me to the role is just her strength and her power and her sense of humor in the show, and just how awful she is to people. And just like, but yet you still, she was still likable. It wasn't like you hated her, but you loved to hate her. Is how when I was reading it, I was like, oh, she's kind of, as long as we don't go down a nasty, nasty road of like where there's no sense of humor and no fun in it, that that wouldn't be a fun thing to watch otherwise. But that was originally what attracted me to, and the script as a whole was something that we hadn't really seen before. It involved, it tapped into all kinds of mythology and folklore and everything. It's like there were no sort of rules. It was like, okay, well let's have some fun. So it was an interesting prospect. See where it would go.
Cool. And my second question, what was it like working on 2.5 Men? Was it as crazy as it seemed?
No, it was a lot of fun. 2.5 Men was great. The sitcom schedule is a very different schedule than the 1 hour show. Like, you're not working a 17. If you're in every scene on a 1 hour show, you're working a good 15 to 17 hours a day, all in kind of thing. But on a sitcom, it's sort of, to me, it's like crazy. It's so awesome. You go in on a Monday, you do your table read, and that's like you're there for like an hour or two. Then you come back on Tuesday and you rehearse for like 4 or 5 hours. You do the same thing on Wednesday. Thursday is, you pre-shoot some of the scenes that aren't going to be done in front of the live audience, and so you might be there for a few hours, or you might, depending on how you're scheduled or how much of the stuff you're in, you might have a 12-hour day. And then Friday is show night, so you show up, you rehearse with the cameras and everything, and then they load in the audience at about 5 or 6 o'clock at night, and you do the show. And sometimes it can run long if things aren't going well and they have to rewrite stuff. But on 2.5 Men, it was pretty, they were a pretty well-oiled machine, and it just kind of went like clockwork. So we'd be done, like we'd start at 7, we'd be done by 10, and it was like
like, wow, this is amazing. I get to have a life. I can see my dogs. I can have friends. I can see the friends that I have. So, you know, it's two different sort of worlds, but they were both are really enjoyable. Thank you. You're welcome.
I'm just interested to know what makes you tick, what inspires you.
My animals inspire me. You know, being motivated to go out and travel and see the world and do things, and my friends inspire me. You know, watching, gosh, all kinds of things inspire me. I suppose. You know, I'm inspired by other people's work in the industry that I'm in, and aspire to, you know, do as great work as some of these other people that I watch and admire and go, okay, wow, you know, I'd love to do something like that. And it kind of, it puts things in your head where you're like, oh, I'd be, you know, I want to do better. I want to, you know, I want to be like that. And so, I guess watching others is inspiring and seeing what others do.
Can I just ask, is there a TV show that you would attend a convention for? As a fan?
Orphan Black is one, yeah. Yeah, actually what just set, I called John, I said, can I go, we were supposed to go and have like lunch and coffee, and he's, you know, obviously was a little busy. And he's like, I'm kind of shooting a TV show right now, I can't do that. So I'm like, can I come and like visit? And so he let me come to set. He's like, really? You want to come to set? And I was like, I know. I never want to come to set unless I'm working, but I love it. I was so excited, and I got to meet some of the cast and some of our hair and makeup people, and some of our crew from Law School were actually working on the show, and they kept looking, and they're like, are you working today? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing here? Are you're working? No, I'm working on Law School, but I thought I'd come visit you guys because I like the show a lot. So yes, I would attend a convention for Orphan Black. That would be fun.
Hi, I was wondering if there's any outfit or costume that the Morrigan has worn that you'd love to be able to take home.
Oh yeah, there's this leather jacket that I wore at one point that was like this little, you know, crotch thing. I can't remember what episode it was, but yeah, it was really, really cute. I mean, they dressed me so well on the show. They really have some fantastic things, and even in this episode, I was like, I want that. Keep that.
Any chance of trying to steal them afterwards?
Yes, they've given me some of the stuff, which has been really nice. When I've, you know, come, Jay, please. And he's been very sweet about that.
Hiya.
Hello.
Just wondering, in season 4 we started to see a bit of Evelyn's backstory, like with the weird son and all. But just wondering, I don't know how to word that. The mummy's boy.
The mummy's boy.
Too extreme. But we're just wondering, are we going to see any more of that? I know you can't do spoilers, but would you like to get into more of Evelyn's back past?
I would definitely like to see more of the backstory and like sort of her history. Last season was really the first time that we saw any of that, which was nice because you got to know a little bit more about where the Morgan came from, and you saw her interact with more of the characters on the show, which was nice too. You know, mainly Zoe, which that kind of came out of nowhere. We you know, we get to finally work together. It's so fun. But yeah, I hope that we get to see a bit more of that this season. I'm not quite sure yet how they're gonna, you know, the son thing was creepy. They didn't tell me that he was my son until like 2 episodes into it. I was like, you might have wanted to mention that. I was like, ew, that's so inappropriate. Really? And he was mortified when he found out. He didn't know till like the end of the show. He's like, you're my mother? No! I was like, oh yeah, they didn't tell you that? He was so disturbed. which one?
The drink, the dark belt was.
The dark belt, that just showed up on set. I did that was, the dark belt just showed up on set. We had like pizza, it was written in the script, and I think it must have been the writer's idea actually, because I think it said dark belt in the actual script, and then when we showed up on set, they had like, like a little 6-pack made with dark. That's kind of cool. I see a bunch of you on Twitter have like, made little or done graphics and things with the dark belt, which is great.
It's a whole new thing on beer and pizza night.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you very much.
Hi.
Hello.
I have a question about season 4. The last few episodes. Did anything get cut from that between the Morrigan and Massimo? Because it felt a little bit disjointed when it aired.
You know what? I haven't seen the final aired version.
Okay.
They're actually in my bag. It's part of the plan to watch them on the way home. Actually, on the way here, and then I got sidetracked with the Blacklist and Orphan Black and some other things. But I was like, well, I have those. I can watch them later. I'll have to watch. That's interesting that you say that. I'll have to watch to see if they did cut anything out.
Yeah.
What sort of?
Well, there was kind of the suspicion was that people thought originally before it got aired that maybe the Morrigan was going to die.
Oh no.
And then there was
No.
But then there was this weird moment where Massimo is talking to it's almost like he's talking to a basket. And he's talking about Ebony, which then it was like, was she originally in there?
A basket or a little box?
The box is around there, but because the box has got the origin seed.
Right. Am I not in that scene?
No. And then there's...
Is it in my bedroom?
No, this is
Okay.
the later one. Because there's one moment where Lauren walks in on you all, and then the next minute you see her and she's got blood on her forehead, and no one knows where that came from either. I remember she's got blood on her forehead. Yeah. She's cool when she walks into the room with you and Massimo.
Everybody's like, really? I know this.
And then when it cuts, the next scene has Massimo and Lauren's cowering and crying and really scared, and it's like, well, where did that come from?
They might have cut some stuff out, or that seems odd.
Yeah.
That seems really weird, yeah. Maybe I'll start with that, because that's the season finale, right?
Yeah.
Or is it the one before?
No, it's the one before.
Yeah, the final 2 wasn't it, but that was very...
I'll have a look at that, because I don't recall it jumping around like that so much, but it's weird.
Yeah, it kind of felt like something got cut somewhere.
I'm curious now. I'm going to go fast forward through and be like, what did they do?
Could you tell us about how did you get the role?
The Morgan? How did I get the role? I got a call from my agent, then they sent me the script, and I had a look at it, and they said, my agent said, is this something you have a look at it, see if it's something that you'd be interested in. I was actually shooting him in Target at the time, and I read it, and I was like, this is great, this is really fun, this is, and I think they had Anna, and a couple of other people. I think they pretty much cast most of it, but there was still, I didn't know who else they needed to cast at that point. And it worked out timing-wise, and everything was good. And I was like, I really like this project. Yeah, I'd love to be a part of it. And so that's sort of how it happened. Next thing I knew, I was on a plane, and off we went to Toronto to shoot in the freezing cold. It was actually that first episode. I don't know if you remember the big fight with the you know, that whole thing, and I'm standing up there in the red dress. We were shooting in a glass factory, an abandoned glass factory in like Hamilton, Ontario, and it was like 2 in February, wearing a dress, and poor Anna's in like a little, you know, some skimpy outfit of some sort, and then the guy's half naked, you know, in some, you know, loincloth thing. Like, this is the worst location ever, because it was probably about 10 degrees colder inside than it was outside. So, and it was freezing outside. So it was, my whole body was lined with those, you know, those hot shot things that you can take skiing, stick to your clothes. The entire inside of my dress was lined with those. It was so cold. And then, you know, they're like trying not to have like the breath show up on you, but couldn't help. I mean, unless you suck on ice cubes and then try to say your lines, it's not easy to do. And you're just like, trying not to say my lines. It is. So, yeah.
Hi there. You must have quite a lot of downtime on set. I was just wondering how you fill that time when you're not actually shooting scenes.
I have an iPad, which has become my very good friend. I watch lots of Netflix and other television shows that I have downloaded. I have my dogs on set, so they take up a lot of time with little walks and playing and visits to Ksenia's room to play with Tino. And then other than that, I mean, you know, take a little nap here and there, do some reading, and if there's another episode coming up, or, you know, if I need to look at stuff for the next day, that sort of thing, usually that's the first thing I do, but then passing the time is mostly reading and TV watching. Sounds kind of lame, doesn't it? It's not very exciting, but that's basically it. Oh, Back to the Future shirt. Really?
I quit about 12 hours. Question regarding Supernatural. On YouTube, there's clips from Supernatural conventions, and you see Jared and Jensen, and the banter they have between them, you see how close they are.
Right.
You get the feeling that anyone that comes on the show is seen in a fun way as fresh meat for pranks and fun. Did you find that when you was on the show? Have you got any stories, things like that?
You know, they didn't prank me. I remember they would carry the director, they'd pick the director up every once in a while and carry him around. That was interesting. And Jared and Jensen are huge. I mean, they're both like 6'4", you know, so, and our director for that episode, Kim Manners, he's passed away since, but he was maybe 5'6"-ish, like my height, like a small build, you know, very thin guy. He'd just pick him up, and like they had a great relationship with him too. But those two are always joking around. And they're such nice guys. I actually knew Jensen through a friend from before, so I knew him coming into the show. But they're both lovely and a ton of fun, and they are very close, and they have a great relationship, which is, you can obviously see it on screen as well as at conventions.
Hi there.
Hello.
If you could play anybody from history, who would you want to play?
Cleopatra. That would be fun. I know there's like 3 different versions of that movie right now that are in the works for different networks and feature versions. Wasn't there a version where they wanted Angelina Jolie to do it? Like at one point there was like a rumor that she was going to play. I think she'd make a great Cleopatra. Kind of cool to see her do it. But yeah, that would be.
And if somebody was going to play you, who would you want to play you? If you were a movie made of your life, who would you want?
A movie made of my life?
Yeah, so from the past, or it could be an old actress or current actress.
I mean, current, I'd say Angelina. I love her. She's awesome. From the past, that's a tough one. Maybe Sophia Loren or somebody like that. That's not really in the past, but that's, yeah.
Thank you.
Different generation, I suppose.
Hi, we've heard backstories from most of them, and I was wondering, would you want to have a backstory for the Morrigan, and what time period would you like that to have been in?
Yeah, I would. I mean, the backstory would be really great. That's always helpful. They've obviously started to hear the backstory. What time period? Maybe the 60s would be fun, or the 40s. Yeah, something.
I can definitely see the 40s.
Yeah, the 40s would be. Yeah, I think the 40s probably would be more fun than the 60s. 40s, the 40s.
And as playing as the Morrigan, do you think that your character was underneath the other previous one, and you bummed that person off to get that role, that part, or do you think that maybe you were most evil and you managed to get what you wanted, or do you think you were scheming to actually get up there, climbing up the ladder slowly?
Are you asking if there was another Morrigan, like another leader before, and I bumped them off?
Yeah.
Probably. It's my guess. We have a tinker.
Who is your favourite character on Lost Girl, but you can't choose yourself because that's just cheating?
I would have to say it would be a toss-up between Vex and Kenzie. Yeah.
And also, Team Dyson or Team Bo?
Dyson? Bo's a chick. I already have one of those, Zoe. So now we need to balance it out with some Wolfman.
Hello again. Hello. Okay, so this whole thing with Massimo, considering he's human, that would have made that, the Morrigan would have actually had to find a human to make him with. What kind of a human do you think that would be? Because she doesn't really seem to like humans much.
Physically appealing, hot boy toy type. I think that's the Morrigan. Find some hot boy toy somewhere that she didn't have to deal with later.
Do you think she would have taken one of those people from the talent thing, how she
maybe
yeah.
Like she had sex with one of her clients?
Yeah. I don't know.
Very inappropriate, very Morrigan. Oh yeah, maybe, perhaps. Just pick someone from her roster. And then probably kill them. You can't have the father around.
Hi. The first thing I saw you in was Smallville, and I wondered if you had any stories from that time, in particular working with Michael Rosenbaum, who seems like a lot of fun.
Oh my God, okay. Yeah, I do. Do we have time for it? Yes, we do. So Michael Rosenbaum, whom I love and adore, and who was a constant pain in my ass the entire time we were shooting. He's always making jokes. He was always doing stuff to bug me and stuff. And so one day he comes walking into the trailer, the hair makeup trailer, and he said something to me, and I can't remember what he said. He made some remark, and I was like, I had no comeback, and then he just slams the door and walks out. And I was like, I hate him. He's dead. I'm getting him. And so I turned to the hair makeup girls, and I'm like, gotta do something. I gotta think of something really, really good to get him back. Because he's always pranking everybody else, but nobody ever gets him. So I was like, I've got it. I go to the props people, and I said, I need you to make me some. It was a Friday, and I said, I need you to make me something that looks like poop, and not healthy poop, something nasty looking. And they're like, why would you want that? And it's like, it's for Michael. And they're like, we'll have that ready for you Monday morning. So then on Monday, and I said to the ADs by the trail, I was like, what time does Michael come in on Monday? And they're like, oh, he's in at like 6:30 in the morning or whatever. I was like, okay. And I was in a little earlier than him that day. And so I said, can you let me into his trailer before he gets to set, or before he gets to work? And like, what are you doing? I was like, a little prank. They're like, absolutely, we'll let you right into Michael's trailer. So I go to catering. I was like, can you give me 2 hard-boiled eggs and a little bowl? They're like, yep. And so I get those. Then my delivery of poop comes in the morning on Monday. It was lovely, in a Tupperware container. And so I go they let me into Michael's trailer. I mash up the hard-boiled eggs. I put them behind his toilet in the bathroom. I crank up his heat, and then I proceed to make a mess in the bathroom with the Tupperware container that they gave me, and complete it with the tissue paper and everything, and maybe just a little smear. And I whipped down I asked the AD to come in with his Polaroid camera that we borrowed from Hair and Makeup, that they very willingly gave us. And I was like, I had big curlers in my hair, and I'm like, come here and take a picture. He's like, seriously? I'm like, yes. I got on in the bathroom, and I was like, and he snapped a couple of photos, and then I took one of these shots like this we had a little photo shoot. I was like, put those in an envelope and keep them for me until I tell you to bring them to set. He gets to work. He's like, oh, it's hot in here, it smells. And he shuts the door in his bathroom and goes straight into makeup. I'm like, damn it. He didn't go in there. I was like, give him time. He's got his coffee. He's going to need to go to the bathroom eventually before he goes to work. So it'll happen. And then it did. And you hear his door fly open. He's like yelling for one of the ADs. They're like, can you come here for a second? And I see his face, and he's like, here we go. So then everything starts, and he gets in the van to get to work and to go to set, and we're all in, and he's like, oh, I'm so upset. I'm like, what happened? He's like, I don't even want to talk about it. And so we get to set, and finally, the first AD comes to me. He's like, okay, we need to tell him, because now he's really upset, and he's starting to take it out on other people. I was like, all right, ruin my fun. So like, bring the yellow manila envelope with Polaroids in it to set, and he'll think it's, revisions or something, script stuff. And so they bring it to set, and of course he's holding court talking to a bunch of people, and he's opening it up, and he takes them out, and he's like, you see his face. And he turns to me and starts doing the slow clap. And he just looks at me like, you're dead. He's like, I'm going to get you. I was like, he never has to this day. And that was, about 10 years ago now. So yeah, that was my one. I don't usually do a lot of pranking, but I was like, he was deserving of something. And he got his. So that was fun. There's my story from Smallville.
Hello. So with Lost Girl, do you prefer the chemistry between Bo and Lauren, or Bo and Dyson?
Yeah, I feel like this could be a dangerous question to answer. Well, I mean, the Bo and Lauren relationship is so heated and intense, and I like Bo and Dyson. Not Bo. Wait, Bo and Dyson? And yeah, I like that. Seeing Chris with his shirt off isn't so bad. So. Yeah, but you know what? The Bo and Lauren relationship is pretty steamy, so I think I'd have to go with that.
Yeah. And another question.
Or Bowen Dyson. Yay! Threesome there, everybody's happy.
Another question: would you like to have more chemistry with Lauren in the next season? Or?
Well, I think she kind of ruined that. We had it, and then she had to go and piss all over it.
Hey, I was wondering what your opinion of Bowen Tamsin is.
I mean, you know, the stuff, especially this coming season, I really like it. It's an interesting dynamic, and it's fun. I like Tamsin's presence on the show. I think it mixes things up a little bit, and you're never sure what she's up to.
Thanks.
Would you like to be able to melt people in real life?
Yeah.
How would you use it? Like, in what situations?
Well, definitely people who are abusive to animals or children. Definitely melt all of those people into one big pile. And then just people who are naughty and mean and say nasty things and just melt them on the spot.
That's really extreme, but it's nasty things.
It was what, sorry?
It's a bit extreme reaction to people being
nasty. Well, they have to be especially nasty. I don't know. I'm not like really, really horrible, like people who do bad things, not just like saying something mean. But maybe if I had been like in grade school, in those like the lunchroom situations and stuff, people aren't nice. I don't think people in those situations would have been good. You know, you're not really in contact with people who do really bad things at that stage, so, or hopefully ever, but really, you know, I don't think people in grade school would have been fun. I can think of a few.
Hi. Could you tell us something about working with Emily Andras, the previous showrunner?
Oh, yeah, she's been fantastic. She's created this fantastic show, and what's been really nice is well, we haven't had the chat this season, but most seasons we've like been able to talk on the phone and sort of talk about where, you know, they're taking my character, and as well, I'm sure she has these conversations with all the cast members, but she's very involved, and she cares a lot about, you know, what we think, and it's all very collaborative, and so that it's a really nice play. Like it creates a nice environment for us to be able to play, and when we have things that we, you know, like suggestions and ideas that we come up with, she's very open and willing to incorporate those things into a script or, you know, into our characters and integrate it. So it's really cool because we get to work together. It's very collaborative. New showrunner? There's a new showrunner? Who knew? They don't tell me anything. I haven't been up there yet, so I was there on the way here. I haven't actually been on set this season, so. They have not told me that there's a new showrunner. Who? Tell me, please, somebody tell me. You're gonna look it up on my IMDb.
Michael.
Michael?
Yeah.
Huh, okay. Well, I look forward to hanging out with them.
Hi, my question. If you could sign any person up to drain talent from, who would you choose and why?
To drain talent from?
Yeah.
I would choose Meryl Streep. She'd be a good one. Suck some talent out of her. and, I would probably also choose I'd find some fabulous pro Grand Prix horseback rider that I could suck that talent out of, because that would be fun to be able to go over really big stuff and not fall. And yeah, there's lots of people out there that I would suck, but those are, Meryl Streep would be top of my list.
Hi, I saw at Winnipeg last year, you and some of the guys from the show and the Cowboy and Europe filming. Something you could tell us about that one? Is it a biblical film or?
Oh, in Winnipeg?
Oh. No, was there a biblical film?
There was a biblical, yes, we did a movie based on the origins of the Christian church. It's a fictional retelling, but it's the story of Saul and how he becomes one of the apostles, Paul, and I played Mary Magdalene. And we shot it in Malta at the end of last year, and it was Chris Holden-Reed, myself, Kyle Schmidt, who was on last season, and Calvin Blue, who from Dead Like Me and many Tutors and many other shows. But we had a blast. That was another good little pairing of people together, because the whole time we're just laughing and having a good time on set. We had a great time. And Malta doesn't suck. It's not a bad place to shoot. It's kind of really awesome location. So we actually shot on the same sets that they used for Gladiator and Troy. So we got to, they loaned us a lot of the costumes from those movies that they used. So it was really cool, because the sets they weren't built for any, they're actual ruins that they use, which is amazing, because I would think sometimes you go to places like they're protected, but they're in such a state that they actually use them for movies, because they rebuild them and have made them look nice, and so, but we got to go down and check out some of the stuff, because we're, hundreds of it's fascinating, because you actually got to go inside the ruins and you had to be careful, because stuff could collapse and fall on you, so that wouldn't be good. But it was really cool.
Hi, I love your paintings and your artwork. I just wonder if you have any more lined up.
Oh, thank you. I do. I have a little sort of assembly line at my house right now of different paintings in different stages of production. But yes, there'll be more. I've run out of the ones actually that I've auctioned. I'm pretty much down to no paintings now, because I've auctioned them all off for charity. So yeah.
Do you think the Morrigan has any more children out there? Come on.
That could be interesting. I'm not sure. God, I hope not, though. You never know what they'll put me up to this season, though. She'd end up having twins or something, and Massimo could be back. Well,
I mentioned the past, because she's had a long...
Oh, yeah, she's been around forever. Yeah. Maybe some of her human children are already dead, just like Massimo. It's quite possible.
Hi. Is something going to happen between Trick and Ebony?
Rick and I were talking about that. Yeah, you never know. Never know. Again, I don't know. That if I did, I would be able to tell you anyways, but that would be fun. Yeah, no, and that's another, they've paired me up with different people in the cast now, as far as being able to work with more of the cast, which has been really nice, because Rick and I didn't really get to work together at all up until this past season. We've had a little bit of interaction, but not much. So it's been really, really fun to be able to explore the different relationships between the characters.
I was wondering, have you ever met actors or actresses that you've been kind of fangirling over, or
that were really impressive to meet. Not a lot of people that I get fangirly over there. Oh, yes, there is one. I was sitting at a Lakers game on the floor in Los Angeles at a basketball game, and it was the front row, and I'm sitting, and then all of a sudden I see these two guys walking up, and one of them's Leonardo DiCaprio, and he sits right next to me, and I just went, ah. And I was like, it's touching his leg. If it wasn't, it's now it's touching his leg. So yeah, that I was pretty excited about. And then I had I told my friends, I'm like, I had a conversation with Leo. It went something like this. He had kettle corn. I was like, is that good? And he's like, mm-hmm. I was like, okay, I'll get the kettle corn. I was like, I talked to Leo. Totally, so we're buddies now. But yeah, I was like, I didn't even want to look in his direction because I was like, he's going to think I'm just staring at him. Because I will be. So I was like looking this way the whole time, and I'm like, oh, am I still touching him?
Hi. Do you think you'll still get to stay as leader of the dark now that you're human?
I
Do you think you
hope
might struggle?
so. God, what kind of question is that?
You have a new power struggle.
Maybe.
Can a human leave the dark?
That I would leave the dark, maybe?
Can a human lead the dark?
Oh. I suppose, well, if any human's going to do it, it's me. Not going to let anybody else step in. So I'll have minions, fey minions, running things for me. I see it. The presence on the side doing this.
Hi, Emmanuelle.
Yeah.
I've got a question. Have you ever done any theatre work? And what do you think is the difference between acting in theatre, as an actor, between theatre acting and television acting?
Yes, I haven't done a lot of theater work. I did some early on as a kid and through high school and stuff. The biggest difference is, when you're performing theater, when you're in the run of the shows, you're in front of an audience. You do it from beginning to end without stopping, which is really nice because you get into the flow of things, and stuff happens, and there are screw-ups and whatever, but that's part of the fun, and hopefully you end up covering it up and nobody notices. And it's also, you get the direct sort of feedback from the audience, which is there's a certain energy to that, which reminded me a little bit when I went and did 2.5 Men, because there's a live audience, so it's a little bit theater-like, yet it's stop and go. So there is that nice aspect of it. On the other hand, with film and and the hours are different, obviously. But with film and television, you shoot out of sequence. You don't shoot it from beginning to end. You might start with the last scene of an episode and then jump to something that happens in the middle of the episode, and then you have a break, and then you go to something that's whatever. Like you jump all over the place, and it's all based on locations and scheduling and things like that. So that can be hard sometimes if you have to work backwards and be in a certain emotional place for one thing, yet then jump back to, okay, where was I before this? So you have to sort of pay attention and keep track of where you are in the script and just make a mental note. And the hours are much longer, and you'll do the scene over and over and over and over again so they get everybody's coverage. So it's a very different style of working.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I see Sean saying, this is it? All right. Well, thank you guys so much. To show up, and I know they're very sad that they're not here, but
but I'm glad to be here, and I'm really happy that you guys are having a good time, and I've been having a blast, and I look forward to the rest of today and tomorrow as well.